Hi YouTubers, it's Smoking SC77 again for the next video today. I uploaded my pre-recorded video this morning. So, as you can see, I'm in the garage right now. I'm actually using my iPad right now as to record this video. I'm not live streaming or doing anything like that, but I am uploading this video via my iPad, and hopefully it will work. If it doesn't work, I'll just scrap the video, but I want to talk about something very important right now, something I definitely want to talk about right now, and yes, I'm kind of weird talking to myself out here. If you can't tell outside right now, it's actually snowing. If you look over here, I'll bring the camera over here. It's actually snowing over here. Okay, so, yes, I'm weird talking to the camera, but anyway, the point is, I think we can do this video pretty fine because I'm a partner and I have unlimited memory uploads of my YouTube videos, whatever. So this video should work out. Anyway, the housekeeping, smoking Flor de Olivia cigar, Churchill, and drinking some Merlot wine. So, and yes, I'm 23, so 23 and a half. And that's actually what this video is going to be about. Is something related to age. So let me fire up my stogie. Let's see. Do I want to toast this? Yeah, I'll toast it. Okay. So I think you'll like this video topic right now. I've been thinking about doing live stream on YouTube Hangouts or Google Plus Hangouts. And it's kind of cool, yeah. I want to do that. And, yeah. So hopefully I'll be able to upload this via my iPad. And, yeah, I've never done a mobile update before, but I should be able to do it. Okay, this video might be a little bit long, so if it's a little bit long, no nasty comments like, this video's long, dude, it's so boring, it's so long, who cares about the video? No nasty comments. And please like this cigar. Yeah, this is actually kind of fun, I can upload it through my iPad. This is my iPad that I got for graduation from college. And, yep. So, come on, baby. Yep. Okay, that's good enough. Now, a lot of people actually wonder, am I inhaling cigar smoke when I do like this? I'm actually not. I'm just, I tend to light my cigars a little bit harsh, but that makes no difference whatsoever. And, yes, the housekeeping. And yes, I'm 23 and a half. I'm not underage. I'm almost 24. It's good wine. So, what I wanted to talk about right now is, I guess, and hopefully this records longer than 10 minutes or 15 minutes, whatever, is, very potent smoke. Is I was just browsing YouTube when I came home from work, and I looked on, I think, Jeffrey the Giant. Jeffrey the Giant posted a video. He's a longtime YouTuber. He's been posting for years and years and years longer than me. That's saying something, because I've been posting since 2010. So he's been posting easily since 2008, 2007 maybe. So he's one of the founders of the YouTube Pipe community. He used to be known as Silver Book Chair, whatever. So anyway, he posted a video about whether or not the smoking age, the age to smoke, tobacco, not pot, should be 21 or 18, or should it be 21 to smoke? That's the question he was asking. It's really cold outside right now. Okay, so yeah, he asked that, and he left a link down the bucket, down the other throw bucket, or bucket whatever, to the Huffington Post website, and basically they were saying they had about a 17-minute video or so, almost 20-minute video, on whether or not the smoking age should be raised to 21 or even higher. And I watched about 5 minutes of it. I was kind of tired from work. You know, I was kind of... Oh, there's a truck over there, and I'm kind of being weird talking to myself. So hopefully nothing odd will happen. I might just stop the video, or not stop the video, but I might just not talk to myself so I don't look like I'm crazy. So, hold on, just give me a sec, okay? I don't think you can notice me. So, yeah, it's being silly. So, smoking at 77 is being silly. Yes, I'm being silly. I love being silly. I'm just waiting till he goes over so I don't, you know, look really weird talking to the camera. Give me like 1 minute, okay? Okay. So, what I was going to say is, so Jeff the Giant made that video, and, yeah, so... That's just the noise of the truck. Sorry. Yeah. So he made the video, and I went to the site. Sorry, I lost my track of thought. So it's a 17-minute video on the HuffingtonPost.com on whether or not the smoking age should be 21 or not, or even higher. And so I go onto the website, watch about 5 minutes of the video. I'm not really in the mood to watch it because number one, it's health related, and I don't really like health related stuff. I mean, I know it's unhealthy to smoke, so. And number two, I was really tired from work. I worked a long day, like 6 hours, so I didn't really want to work. I didn't really want to wash. I was kind of just in the mood to smoke. So, anyway, yep. It's just my oil burner. Just ignore those in the background. It's just my oil burner. So, I think we'll record fine. Anyway, so I'm gonna just have to raise my voice. So. I watched about 5 minutes of the video, and it's actually kind of interesting. One of the speakers on the video, who's doing the presentation of the video, is actually from a town in my state, in my home state of Massachusetts. So, and also, so they're talking about on the not Associated Press, the Huffington Post, whether or not the age should be 21 to smoke, or even higher. Yes, I'm rambling, and wow, even if I'm puffing the cigar, it's cold. Yeah, very cold. So, long story short, I watched the video, and I kind of watched 5 minutes of it and say, okay. So, I guess the question I should answer now is, you know, should the smoking age be raised to 21? And I don't want to make this a long video. I don't want to make this like a 30-minute video because I kind of want to enjoy my cigar myself and my glass of wine. So, but anyway, so the first question that pops into my mind, so imagine this. You make the smoking age, say 21. They were also talking about making the smoking age 19 possibly. And you can just go to Joffrey the Giant's YouTube page and look at the link in the video. So, they found in this, what I watched, and keep in mind, disclaimer, I only watched 5 minutes, less than that, so I don't know the whole thing about they had 3 people on. And also disclaimer, I'm kind of biased in this whole thing. I may speak kind of biased because I'm 23 and a half, almost 24 years old, so none of this affects me. I'm well above the legal age to smoke. I can drink legally, so none of this affects me. So I may seem kind of biased because honestly, if they were age 21, I don't care. I can still legally buy tobacco because I have ID, I have, whatever, so they were talking about, well, making the age 19 years old to buy cigarettes, cigars, cigarillos. He's watching the camera. Hopefully it won't okay, come on, please, baby, please, baby. Okay, good. I was just wondering. I was worried it was going to cut off at 10 minutes, but a lot of cameras do that. But anyway, so what I was going to say is so they finally making the age 19 years old, which there are some states. A lot of people don't realize this. There are states where you have to be 19 years old to buy tobacco products. Alabama, Alaska, Utah, New Jersey, and 3 counties in New York State. So, and Suffolk County is one of them, which is actually a county in my home state of Massachusetts also. But the point is, they found that making the smoking age, or age to buy tobacco products. This is cigarettes, cigars, cigarillos, pipe tobacco, hookah tobacco, chew, dip, snus, snuff, nasal snuff, e-cigarettes, papers, pipes, water pipes, anything like that. So they found that making the age 19 doesn't make much of a difference, honestly. The number of lives saved, the number of all that kind of stuff, not much of a difference. But if you raise the age to 21 years old, which is the same age to drink in the United States, we're one of the very few countries that has a 21 age for drinking. Most countries are 18 years old, actually. They find that you do definitely save a lot of lives. You also reduce underage smoking between the ages of 15 and 17 quite a bit. But the question becomes, from a professional in socio-economical sociology standpoint, psychology standpoint, is whether that's fair to 18, 19, 20-year-old adults to make the age 21 years old, or even make the age 19. So, for instance, in Canada, most places it's 19 years old to buy cigarettes or tobacco. Also to drink. So, and speaking of drink, I'm going to have a sip of this. So, what are my opinions on this? And already, a disclaimer right off the bat. Another disclaimer. Already in Massachusetts, where I live, over 30 towns are 21 plus. The woman who was speaking was actually the head of the Needham Board of Health. And I'm not getting into too much detail or too much privacy. You know, I'm an hour and a half away from Needham, so they were the first ones to raise your smoking age in, I believe it was 2005. So I would have been, let's see if let me do the math. I would have been like 13, 14 years old? Yeah, 14, whatever. Yeah, I'm old, so. Oh crap, I lost the ash. So, I'm rambling all over the place, but the point is, this is going to be a very long video, so don't blame me, don't troll me, flame me, whatever. So, so that was the first time to raise their age to 21 years old, and as of 2015, there are more than actually where I buy my pipe tobacco, where I occasionally buy my pipe tobacco, Wash Day Cigar. As of July 2015, they'll be 21 also, and so will be another town near there called Ashland. So, point is, a huge percentage of the towns in Massachusetts are already 21 years old to buy tobacco. Not at a state level, but more and more towns are raising to 21 or 19. So enough rambling. So my first question would be, from my standpoint, would be, do you think this works? Do you think this deters underage smoking? You know, the terrible, terrible, terrible underage smoking. That, whatever. So, My first impression would be no. And the reason I say no, even though they showed a poll, a graph, a bar graph that showed that it has decreased their underage smoking in Needham compared to other towns where the age is 18 years old, my opinion would be no. Because whether you're talking about tobacco, or you're talking about alcohol, you're talking about marijuana, you're talking about illicit drugs, you're talking about any kind of prohibited activity, prostitution, pornography, whatever, people will always find a way to do it. Always. Regardless of, no matter how many, even if you say, if you smoke underage, we're going to give you the death penalty for this. We're going to give you the freaking chair. People are still going to do it. You look at prohibition of marijuana, for instance, when they outlawed it in 1937, was it? How many people around that time had tried pot? Maybe 100,000, maybe 100 million people? No. Maybe about 100,000, okay. Now look, present day 2012, or 2015, sorry. I'm being a dummy. Probably almost 100 million people tried it. So that, by outlawing marijuana, you have increased the marijuana users, the marijuana triers, or people who try marijuana, by, I can't even do the math in my head, like if you do like 100,000 to the whatever power, so that's ridiculous. So people are always going to find a way to do illegal or prohibited activities. Again, has no effect on me. I'm 23 and a half, almost 24. I could go into any store in the world, I believe. I could go to Denmark, I could go to China, I could go to Sweden, I could go to England, I could go to South Africa, or any place in the United States, and I could buy a pack of cigarettes, or a bottle. The only place I believe you have to be older than 20, almost 24, I'm almost 24, so to buy alcohol is India. I believe there's certain provinces in India, the eastern India, the country of India, where you have to be 25 to buy alcohol, and that's due to their strict religious whatever beliefs or whatever their government beliefs. So I'm not going to get into a big debate about that. Definitely not religion. So anyway, but I can go to any store in the United States, buy bottle of wine, bottle of vodka, bottle of whiskey, no problems with any questions asked, as long as they say it's fine that I don't have a driver's license, I have a state-issued ID. So, I don't drive, so I just have a state-issued ID. And, so as long as they accept that, no problems. It's a valid government document, same as a passport, same as a military ID card, same as a birth certificate. No problems. So, yeah. And just, by the way, somebody might come out of the door just to, do something, so just don't be surprised if I have to, turn off for a second. Okay, so, yeah, I can go to any store and buy tobacco, lottery, I can go to a casino, I can buy porn if I want. It's like, so it doesn't affect me. It has no effect on the 21, 22, 23 and above. Nothing. At all. Who it affects? If you're wondering, well, who's going to affect? Who's going to suffer from this? It's going to be kids in high school. Which you don't want young kids smoking. I always say on my channel, anytime I get a comment from an underage smoker, somebody who's considering smoking, don't start if you don't smoke. And definitely don't start if you're underage. Not just because it's illegal in some places, and you can get ticketed for it, just because it's not a good thing to start. There are days where I regret starting smoking sometimes. Not really, but there are days where, I kind of want to smoke and I can't have one. Maybe I'm at work or something, and I can't have a smoke. So, it was a decision I made almost 6 years ago. I have no regrets, really, for it. But, there are days where So it's like, um, anyway, so do I think it will prevent underage smoking, raising the age to buy tobacco products to 21 in the country? And by the way, contrary to popular belief, this is what they said initially in the discussion. I guess I'm going to smoke on my face. The FDA, the Food and Drug Administration, not Federal Drug Administration, Food and Drug Administration, does not have the authority to raise the age to 21 years old. The states have to pass it, or the ATF, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and Explosives, would have to pass a federal law to make it the national age 21. And even the national age is not 21 to drink. I mean, the only reason states make it 21 to drink is because if they didn't, they would lose thousands and thousands of dollars due to highway funding because of DUI and DWI accidents. So that's the only reason. It's so cold outside, it's not even funny. Well, it's not really cold, it's just snowing outside. It's really kind of misty. So, will it deter underage smokers? Saying, when you go into that store, you're 18 years old, you have a driver's license, you have a ID, whatever, and they say, no, I can't sell it to you because you're not 21. What will those kids do? My guess, the first thing they'll do is they will ask an older friend, somebody who's 21 years old, to buy it for them. My second guess, they will ask their parents to buy it for them, even though their parents could get in trouble for buying it for them, even though their older friend could essentially go to jail for doing that. So, Massachusetts, anyone aside from a parent or legal guardian who buys tobacco to a minor or gives tobacco to a minor, up to $300 fine, and it's a crime. So, you can be arrested, you can go to court, and you can pay up to the $300 fine. Not a lawyer, but that's the penalty. So, will it deter them from doing that? My guess, no. I think minors will find a way, regardless, to get tobacco. Just like minors find a way to get alcohol. Minors find a way to get pot. Minors find a way to get other drugs. Minors find a way to get porn. So, that's my opinions. So, the question is it fair? Is it fair to the person who's just 18 years old, who can legally go... Oh, just hold on a second, YouTubers. Sorry. Oh, sorry. That was just my brother coming out of the house. So, yeah. I was just distracted. 1 minute. I'll get back to you. Sorry. Okay, so I'm back. I was just doing something else. So I don't think I have to explain myself. I don't think I have to explain myself in general. When I take a break or something, I think everyone knows that people get distracted and etc. I'm just waiting for whatever. Okay, so back to what I was saying before I was interrupted. So is it fair to the 18-year-old who is not allowed to buy a pack of cigarettes or chewing tobacco, snus, pipe tobacco, to deny them tobacco products because they're not 21 years old and 19, whatever, 25, whatever. Keep in mind, if you're 18 years old in this country, you can legally go and fight and die for your country. You can enlist for the military, You can fight and die for your country. Perfectly legal. You can be shot in the battlefield, bam, dead, you're in the ground within a couple hours. That's perfectly legal at 18 years old. So, now, you can also, at 18 years old, be executed. So, if you commit a murder, you commit whatever, you can be legally executed by lethal injection. You can be strapped down to a gurney and executed by lethal injection, or the electric chair, or any method of execution. So, is it fair to, let's just say oil burner again, is it fair to deny somebody who is 18, 19, 20, or even 21 years old tobacco products because they, are not old, because society views them as not old enough to make that decision, to possibly, prematurely end their life. Smoking, drinking. These are things that could eventually lead to health problems, such as, for drinking, that can lead to liver disease, that can lead to cirrhosis of the liver, that can lead to alcoholism long-term, that can lead to a host of problems. Smoking, cigarettes can cause lung cancer, heart disease, emphysema, heart attacks, strokes, gangrene, cancers of the pancreas, cancers of the bladder, cancer of the colon, the rectum, the anus, host of problems. Cigars, they're a hell of a lot better for you than cigarettes, but they can still cause cancer of the mouth, the tongue, the throat, the larynx, the esophagus. They can cause staining in your teeth, gum recession. So, the next thing I want to talk about briefly, and this is going to be a very long video, obviously, and you can feel free to click off any time. Do you think an 18-year-old person, someone who's 18 years old, has the maturity, the viewer, I'm asking you, has the maturity to prematurely end their life? Not 18 years old, maybe like 40, 50, 60 years old, instead of 70, 80, 90 years old. Do you think an 18-year-old has the maturity to say, okay, I'm gonna pick up a pack of cigarettes, I'm gonna smoke them, and I'm gonna essentially take off 10 years of my life? So, the immediate answer, I'm sure 90% of you will say, absolutely no effing way. Because 18-year-olds are too immature. But, you think about it a different way, so 18-year-old doesn't have a choice to smoke and take 10 years off his life, but 18-year-old has a choice to go and fight and die for his country in war. So, war. The battlefield. So, the next thing I want to get to is, and this thing is, if you look at, alcohol, for instance, like alcohol like this, wine, beer, Bacardi, vodka, whatever you want to call it. Back in the, the 70s, there was a huge movement. Wait, before I even say that, back in the 50s and 60s, you could legally drink at 18 years old. Perfectly. And a lot of stores wouldn't check for ID. They wouldn't do stings on stores. The police wouldn't do stings. Very laid back. You could go into a restaurant probably even 17 years old. Not that you should. And get served. They probably wouldn't care as long as they knew you. But, in the 70s, 80s, there was a huge movement by groups like Mothers Against Drunk Driving, MAD, other agencies, CDC, Gov, whatever, government, to raise the drink age to 21 years old because of the drunk driving issue. And the last state, I believe, to raise the drinking age to 21 from 18 years old was Louisiana, and that was in 1995. So, they took away from 18-year-old adults the right to drink. They made 21 years old. Some adults were already drinking and had to stop drinking for a period of time because the age became 21. So, and I always heard it was 19 for a while, but I could be wrong. I was probably wrong. I make a lot of things in my head. Anyway, the point is, so same thing with smoking. So say, not right now, not on March 20th, the first day of spring, 2015, but say maybe 2 years from now. Actually, say 1 year from now. Say in the 2016 election, whoever will run, whether it's Clinton, whether it's whoever, not getting into politics, say the ATF, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, and Explosives, says, you know what? With the CDC, NIH, FDA, all these people, smoking is bad, it's horrible, it's killing 500,000 Americans each year, it's almost 6 million people worldwide. You know what? And already, thousands of people die who don't even smoke because they breathe in secondhand smoke. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to raise the age to 21. Deal with it. Say that happens in 2016. So over the next maybe 20 years or so, say 20 years, till 2036, what would be my prediction that would happen in terms of underage smoking? Let's take it by statistics. Underage smoking, cancer death, or people dying from smoking, and just overall socioeconomical statistics. For the first question, I kind of talked about this before. Do you think underage smoking would change? Do you think it would change people smoking underage? Probably not. I really don't think so. I think as long as tobacco is legal and they didn't create a ridiculous penalty like life in prison if you're caught with tobacco, I think kids would still smoke. Not that they should smoke, but I think kids would smoke. Do I think the number of premature deaths, lung cancer, heart disease, emphysema, COPD, secondhand smoke deaths, will go down at all? No. I think there'd be really no change. Well, let me rephrase that before I start, being very blunt with you. No pun intended. Tobacco blunt. So, the statistics they gave on that show were like, yeah, there might be a 250,000 lives saved. Really? 250,000? That's 250,000? I don't know. I don't know if that seems like a fair number, to be honest. Because that's assuming you make the age 21 all across the nation. That's assuming that all the kids follow it. So, which they won't. Whether it's tobacco, whether it's alcohol, whether it's pornography, whether it's sex, whatever, kids are going to find a way to do it. So, I'm not encouraging any kids to do it. I'm not encouraging, please don't start if you're a smoker. Don't view this video and say, oh, this is so cool, I should start smoking. No. But do you think it would hugely decrease the number of underage smokers? No, I don't think it would. I think what would happen is what happened when they made the drinking age 21 years old in the 80s and 90s and whatever. So, or 70s, 80s, which is, 18, 19, 20-year-olds weren't allowed to drink. What did we see probably over the last couple of years, or a couple decades? Less people dying from drunk driving accidents, DWI, DUI accidents, whatever you want to call them, OUI, OWI accidents. But we saw more underage drinking. We saw more underage drinking tickets. We saw more police citing people, arresting people for minor possession of alcohol. And at the end of the day, if you're 18 years old, in my mind at least, absolutely no legal advice whatsoever. If you get arrested, if you get fined, whatever, because they changed the age to 21, okay. In my mind at least, if you're 18 years old, you have a legal right to smoke, in my mind. You have a legal right to smoke. The reason they're trying to do this is not so much to deter 18, 19-year-olds from smoking. What they're trying to do is to stop people from starting smoking. Starting. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to say, well, the best way to prevent new smokers, new current smokers, is to increase more former smokers, more ex-smokers, is to make the age 21 years old so less kids can start. Which is good. But it really begs the question of, is it fair to make the age 21 years old? A good example of this, and I can give you a really good radical example right now, it may offend some people, so no nasty comments, is, I'm sure most of you have heard about the Boston Marathon bombing. Joe Harzanaya, the bomber who committed the Boston Marathon bombings, back in 2013. I live in Massachusetts, so I'm about an hour away from Boston, and hour and a half away from Boston. Not getting into too much privacy, but he is younger than me. He is allowed to stand on federal capital trial, Joe Harzanaya, the Boston Marathon bomber, and face execution if found guilty, potentially, or life in prison without the possibility of parole. These are never going to parole him back to the community. And he's younger than me. I'm 23 and a half, I think he's 21, 22. And we committed that act, he was 19 years old, maybe 18 years old. And yet, he committed an act of federal terrorism, and he's not allowed to smoke. And he's facing execution, potential execution if found guilty. And then, of course, the comments back to that would be, well, only 3 people died in the Boston Marathon bombings. It's like, tobacco kills 500,000 people each year. 50,000 people die from secondhand smoke each year alone. But you have to agree, that's a pretty strong point. If somebody is allowed to stand on federal capital trial and face execution, should they be allowed to smoke? That's a really good question. I don't want this video to go on for like an hour, so I'm going to leave it probably around 40 minutes or so. In like a minute or two I'll end this video. But I want to just, ask you guys, what do you think the smoking age should be? Do you think it should be 18 years old? Do you think it should be 19, 20, 21, 30, 80? Or do you think it should just be illegal? I did a video about this a long, long time ago, whether or not tobacco should be legal or not. And it's like over a couple of years ago. And really, do you think it still should be, if all the health risks associated with tobacco use, even cigars and pipes, even smoking cigars and pipes, which are better by a long shot than smoking cigarettes because you're not inhaling, you're just puffing, you're just enjoying the flavors. And periodically exhaling through your nose, and you're not getting all that chemicals, you're not getting all that ammonia, you're not getting all those horrible toxins, but you're still getting smoke, you're still getting tar, you're still getting carbon monoxide, that kind of stuff. do you think it still should be legal to smoke? And do you think I made that video in 2012, fall 2012, and now it's spring 2015, almost 2.5 years later. You know, with all the health risks associated, do you think it should be legal to smoke, to possess tobacco? I don't know. I mean, I think it should be legal. I think as long as you're not smoking around other people and you're not blowing smoke in people's faces, I think it should be legal. I think people have a right to smoke. I think people have a right to use tobacco, especially smokeless, because you're not hurting anyone. I do believe there should be non-smoking laws, meaning you should be able to smoke in public buildings, with the exception of tobacconists, cigar bars, hookah bars, that kind of stuff, as long as the employees know there's smoking going on. I also think that people who smoke should pay extra on health insurance, because it's a health hazard, even if you're smoking cigars and pipes. You know, you are at least doubling your risk of getting oral cancer, so, especially if you drink alcohol, so, or you chew, or you, or whatever, so, I definitely think people who smoke should, even cigar and pipe smokers, should pay, extra on health insurance. They should be charged $50, $100 extra on health insurance, if they can afford it. If they can't afford it, I think they should be required to do other kinds of community service stuff to compensate for that. But really, do you think, you know, two categories. Do you think it should be legal to smoke? And if so, if you think it should be legal to smoke, how old do you think the smoking age should be? I've gone on for almost 42 minutes right now. I'm going to try to end this video pretty quickly. But you know, it's really hard to say, because on one hand, you have the argument of the patriot, no political stuff intended, who's saying, you know, the nanny state, you know, I don't care, you know, this is my body, I can do what I want. But then you have the concerned citizen saying, you know, that smoke can cause a host of problems. It can cause problems to non-smokers. Even the odor of the smoke can make very young children sensitive to it. That smoke can get into cracks and go through the wall into the house or into other apartments. You know, not to mention, if you do get sick, we end up usually paying your health expenses. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It's a very tough question to make. I think it should be. I definitely think it should be legal to smoke. The question is, what age do you have that right to make that kind of decision? I really wish I could have posted this as a video response to Jeffrey the Giant. Unfortunately, YouTube got rid of video responses. YouTube. Just kidding. So, I don't know. I mean, it's a really tough question to answer. Because, and there's no right answer to the question. You know, how old should you be to make that decision? To make the decision to smoke. I mean, on one hand, you can argue from, you know, like my perspective, you know, I never smoke indoors. I've lit things in the house, I'm sure. You know, I've lit a pipe in the house. I lit a cigar in the house here and there. 99% of the time, I'm smoking outdoors, even though it's cold. I smoke out here where it's freaking, you know, negative 10 degrees. And yet you have the argument back saying, well, that smoke can seep back through the house. So, it's a hard decision because it's like, there's no right answer to this. And we can debate it back till the cows come home, the old saying goes. And still, no one's right, no one's wrong. It's a question of when do you have oil burner again? When do you have the legal, or not even legal, I wouldn't call it, because I'm not a lawyer, obviously. when do you have the maturity? That's a very interesting word. This video is going on very long. Click off at any time. When do you have the maturity to make that decision to smoke? Should it be 18 years old, 19 years old, whatever? Because it's a very hard thing to do. Anyway, I'm going to leave it with that. It's 45 minutes long. Way, way too long video. I rambled on long enough. This is one of my longest videos ever. Anyway, comment, rate, subscribe if you want to, and bye.